Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Edge Realty's podcast. My name is Yashua Suarez. I'm Chief Marketing Officer of Edge Realty, and I'm joined today by one of my good buddies here, Ryan Cotroneo from our Cabot office.
How's it going?
What's going on, buddy?
Oh, not much.
Appreciate you being here, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
I'm loving the Jesus look that you had going on, the Lord and Savior look.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
When you came in, you should put it down. You should always have it down.
Yeah.
But man, so obviously a big reason why we have this is to kind of give a little bit more insight of not only the business but of you guys as well too.
Yeah.
So I kind of wanted to get into a little bit of what makes Ryan tick. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of intricacies in your life that I think that a lot of people don't even know about, and I want to kind of get a little bit more in depth on what it is that makes Ryan again, lost better words, tick. You know what I mean? So so tell us a little bit about yourself as far as like your upbringing and your background and stuff like that.
Oh, man. So, long story short, we've kind of moved around when we were little. I've got, we'll start out with the fam. I've got two brothers and a little sister. The majority of our life have lived in Arkansas. My big brother graduated from Germantown, Tennessee, from high school, and then we moved to Cabot. I'd say probably 25 years ago, something like that. 24, something like that. And I've lived in Cabot ever since then. So that's my place, you know. So we moved there. I went to UCA in college. Played sports at Cabot, you know, growing up, doing all of that. Went to UCA. That's where I met my wife. And we now reside in Cabot and have 3 kids, two girls, 12, 9, and then have a 2-year-old little boy. So, and now we're just kind of, you know, living the dream.
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Absolutely. So tell me a little bit about, as far as like, what's the biggest change from Cabot? Because I know a lot of people, I've only been here for a few years. So like, going from what I've heard from other people that have been here for a while, like the biggest changes that have happened, even in, you know, in Cabot, Jacksonville, Sherwood, even going up to Ward and Austin.
Man, what's crazy is when I first moved there, I mean, it was not anywhere close to the town it is now. Like, I mean, Walmart, all of that area, I mean, that was all bean fields. Like, I mean, you had the main strip down through the middle of town, and that was it. Like, I mean, you crossed over where the freeway and stuff is now. I mean, that was, you're out of town. Like, I mean, you're in farmland right there.
That sounds like what a scene out of Back to the Future there.
Yeah.
All just pine trees.
Yeah.
All pine trees.
Dude, I mean, that's what's crazy. I mean, if you would have left when I moved to town and then now drive back through Cabot, seeing the high school and all of that, I mean, your mind would be blown. Like, I mean, crap, even when I graduated, I mean, when I was in high school there, I mean, 2005 was when I graduated. I mean, it was literally a giant trailer park. Like, they were redoing stuff, and so we were literally in like the FEMA trailers and stuff and set up, I mean, just spread out all over that, you know, whatever that square mile or blocked off, you know, that corner there where the high school sits.
Right.
I mean, and now you've got a college campus. Like, I mean, it's insane.
That's true. That's definitely what I thought when I first saw it.
I mean, it really does. It looks like a small college. Like, I mean, it does. But
man, so all right. So as far as okay, so obviously there's been a lot of things that have changed in Cabot, and I guess for the better of the society and the community. What about as far as you know, people that come in from out of town, for instance, like military, or people that are kind of coming in from other places and see that Cabot's doing, you know, growing, or, you know, and it's somewhere that people want to raise their families.
Yeah.
What how does that make you feel?
Man, I mean, that is my biggest thing with Cabot is you kind of, you get the reach of living in a kind of a, I mean, I would say a little bit larger of a town, city, whatever. But it still has that small town, hometown quality, in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like, there's still those certain gas stations that you can go sit in, and them same old dudes are still sitting there drinking coffee in the morning, you know, doing that kind of thing. There's little things just that kind of keep it still, give you that home feeling, you know what I mean? And it does, it's not outgrown that, I guess. I mean, I guess in some aspects it has. I mean, but that's kind of, I don't know. That's why I love it. Is just because it still, it just feels like home. Like, I mean, and even people that are moving in, especially military and stuff like that. It's a great place to live. That it's the school program, all of that. I mean, it's top notch. I mean, your kids are going to be taken care of, and that's the biggest thing for me. I mean, especially military families where you have to move so much and do all of that. When you get orders and coming in and being able to kind of jump into a spot and feel safe, feel at home. That would, to me, that would seem like that would be a huge plus.
Yeah. So like, from my experience, we moved here from Japan, but we had people that were over there that have lived over here before. So they kind of give us a little bit of an insight of, where to go, what to look for. And honestly, Cabot just kept being that number one place that everybody just kind of was telling me about. And I mean, Jacksonville is obviously great now as well too. But I think the reason why a lot of people didn't tell me before is because of all the changes that have happened within the last few years. Because it was a few years before since they've ever been here. So a lot has changed with all of Central Arkansas, to be honest with you. Not only that, but you're not that far away from downtown, so you got a little bit of.
It's kind of perfect. I mean, if you're you like to go downtown, get out, go to Pinnacle, hiking, that kind of. I mean, there's that stuff. If you're a hunter, you've got WMAs. I mean, there's 30 minutes north of Cabot is Hurricane WMA that you can go deer hunt, do whatever. You got Holland Bottoms here in Jacksonville. Like, I mean, it's that perfect middle ground. I mean, you're 3 hours away from Northwest Arkansas. I mean, you're just stuck in the middle of everything. That's my favorite part about it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. I definitely agree with you 100% on that. So let's talk a little bit about how'd you get into real estate? That's going to be obviously a question I'm going to ask you, coming from your background. And I know we have Lisa, your mom, is a part of Edge's Realty as well too. Was that a big influence in getting into real estate?
Well, mom sold real estate. She's been in it for probably 15 years now, and it was that was a big key in why I switched over. The biggest thing was JC. I mean, really, that's we both went to UCA. That's where I pretty much met him. He was a quarterback at Jacksonville, and I was a quarterback at Cabot. So okay. I mean, in Jacksonville, Cabot rivals.
That's true. I mean, that's okay.
Anytime you'd tell a coach at Cabot, I mean, hey, coach, I can't do that. Kent lives in Jacksonville. Like that's, I mean, and that's burned into my brain.
Right.
But that's we lived across the hall from each other at UCA. And I got to really know JC there. And then after we got out of college and stuff, we kind of stayed in contact. Both have kind of the same mindset when it comes to, working in business and how you handle yourself in a business setting, that kind of deal. And I'd called him. Man, I can't even remember if it was because I've done a little bit of everything in sales, I can't remember if I called him for trying to get his insurance or sell him a business telephone system or something. I can't remember what it was, but that kind of got us more on a professional level and just kind of talking, not so much about sports and, what we did in college to now how can we grow, how can we get better? And it kind of just seemed like we were always trying to find the avenue to work together and just couldn't quite make it happen, and that's when he got into real estate, and that's what he told me. He was like, dude, I think you'd be good at this. And a year later, 2 years, I can't remember how long it was, but he started Edge, and that's when he came to Jacksonville, and he was like, man, you need to do this. And I was kind of in between jobs trying to figure out, what I was about to do for my next step, and wasn't really just thrilled about driving and working out of Jacksonville just because I'm from Cabot,
Gotcha.
And then so I was like, man, something doesn't feel right just yet. I'm gonna pump the brakes and just kind of see what happens. And man, if it wasn't a year later, Corbin and Greg came in and brought an office to Cabot, and I was like, I'm in. Let's do this. Let's go. And man, it's I should have made that transition probably 3 to 4 years before that. Just with the way what I was doing, where I was working for toxic bosses and stuff, it was sucking the life out of me. And then I come to Edge and start working here, and it just gave me a drive. I mean, that drive that me and JC used to talk about, and those things, like it all came flooding back. And that's, man, thing just popped up on I passed my real estate exam 3 years ago today. It popped
no
up.
way.
Yeah, it popped up on my deal. So, I don't know. It's been the best move of my career life so far. I mean, for sure.
Dang. So, do you think, like, it's funny how you said like you should have started a couple years earlier, because I feel like that's everybody's answer, and that's how everybody feels once they get into this career. And if this career is for them, because obviously it's not for everybody.
Oh yeah.
But once they get into the career and they feel like it's for them, and they really succeed in it, or they excel in it, and everybody's like, man, I should have started this like last year. I should have started this 3 years ago when I first got the bite. So I can definitely agree with that, because it's funny. And I've told the story before, but my mother-in-law was a big person that was always telling me like, hey, you should probably get into real estate. Yeah. You just have that. You have that thing. You have that. Charisma, whatever it is, and she's like, you need to get into real estate. And then she got that bug in my wife's ear, and was like, my wife was always telling me, hey, you need to go into like the marketing. You need to go, and I agree with mom, and you should go into real estate and combine the two. And then it wasn't until the same thing, like I kind of talked to JC, and it was the right time. I think it was the right time, or it maybe not only the right time, but it just something had to give at that point in time. Yeah, because like you said, like I agree with you 100% again on having those other jobs that were kind of just feeling toxic was bringing you down. Yeah, and I think man, if that doesn't push you to go into something else, like I don't know what.
Well, if you got the drive to work, I mean, real estate's a great deal. I mean, you get the flexibility, in which a lot of people misconstrue that, in my opinion, because they think, oh, you just get to do whatever you want all the time. And it's like, there are times you get to, but there's a lot of times that you don't get to. I mean, you're working evenings, you're working weekends. It's when the client needs you.
Right. I mean, be honest. Like, do you feel like you're working? Would you say you're working more hours now than you were before in like the corporate world?
I wouldn't say. There are times, yes, 100%. I mean, if you've got 4 closings coming up and stuff like that. I mean, 4 things under contract in a month. I mean, you're going to be working. I mean, it is what it is. But I would think it's pretty equivalent to working. Just, I mean, it's just the hours are different. Like you're not there from 8 to 5. Yeah. You might work a few hours and then go, take your kids to lunch or take your wife to lunch or do something, and then right back to work after that. And you might be working till 7 or 8 o'clock that night, but then you're off. And then, I mean, so it's a different, I don't know, it's a different routine, I guess. And I think that's what attracts me to it, is there is it's a routine to an extent, but the way stuff just kind of flies at you, you have to be able to adapt very well. And that change and adaptation there, like it just, that's what is fun to me.
It doesn't get mundane.
Right. You're not checking in doing the same thing over and over. It's something different every day. And I mean, sometimes it's a pain, some of the stuff that you deal with, it makes you want to pull your hair out, but that's part of it. I mean, and that's why I was actually talking to a buddy last night, and I was like, man, it's really no different than any other job. I mean, you're going to have those same frustrations at another place, a corporation that you work for or whatever, but I don't know, it's a perfect fit for me. I love it. I mean, doing with my extracurriculars and stuff like that, I mean, it fits in perfect to my lifestyle. Right.
So I mean, speaking of lifestyle, I know you said that you're doing JC for a while, and you guys were always looking for like an avenue to kind of work together. Yeah. What do you feel as far as the culture that we have here at Edge? What kind of kept you here that would be different from if you were going into like a larger brokerage, maybe like a Keller Williams or something along those lines? What's that kind of culture you feel that has you that's keeping you here?
Man, it's kind of hard. Only thing that I can really go off of is just seeing Mom and where she came from, the company that she worked for before Edge, and just listening to some of those agents and stuff like that. And I mean, to me, it's kind of funny because we say it all the time, but it's like the Edge fam, but that is really what this is. It's not, there's I love everybody that we work with. I mean, you know, and I would do anything for any of them. And there's a lot of other places that I hear and talk to people about that it is not like that. And so for me, I mean, it's kind of hard for me to answer that question because I'm just going off of what other people, because this is all I know, you know. I mean, so I've never had to work anywhere else. I mean, in real estate. So, I mean, but if you I just feel blessed that I did get to start here, and this is what I mean, because I won't ever. I mean, this is my family. Like I ain't going. I mean, this is it. Like,
for sure.
I'm an edge lifer.
for sure. And that's crazy to think about because I feel like not everybody gets to have that opportunity or that position in any type of life. And if you do, that's great. Stick with that. You know what I mean? Because then that's it. You're there for a reason. But I mean, if you had to like bottle up what our culture here is at Edge, what would you how would you explain it?
Oh man, that's a tough one. That I mean, it's it's a little bit of everything. I mean, you have nothing. Nobody here is the same. Like, I mean, you have it's not. I don't know. It's
So I'll tell you kind of from like my perspective. It's, we're not cookie cutter. You know, we're not.
Nothing about us is cookie cutter
at all. So and then I mean, I feel like we've got. You know, not only leadership, but people that are here that are a little bit more on the innovative side.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We know, obviously, even from like technology, from this, you know what I mean? I feel like we're heading in a direction where we're a little bit ahead of maybe most.
Yeah.
And I could be speaking out of terms, but you know, honestly, that's just me, and I could be saying that because I'm biased.
Yeah.
But. Again, we're not cookie cutter. We're in a place where I think we all love to be ourselves, and the reason why we love to be around each other is because everybody is themselves.
Yeah.
As Morgan is going by doing the saddle slap across the hallway in front of our window. So, and there's stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like we get to goof around. You know what I mean? We love to whenever we do have events together. It is like.
It's a blast. It is a blast.
I'm telling you, man. I look forward to Thanksgiving and Christmas every year now. You know what I mean? The last 2 years I've been able to be with you guys and have those Christmas parties is just a blast. You know? But yeah, I think you know, the fact that we're not like everybody else. You know, it's not a normal brokerage that you would probably walk into. Yes, obviously we love to work hard and we love to play hard too, but we definitely do get the job done before anything else. I think not only that, but we do it right. And it goes to show you, like, you know, we can be ourselves. We don't have to be, you know, something that we're not. We don't have to try to impress anybody, but at the same time, we're doing it because we love it. It's a passion that we have. So that's just like from my point of view. That's how I feel that we're all kind of have that same mindset. We're all different, but we have the same mindset. I guess it's a good way to explain it. Yeah. But flipping. Okay, so your Facebook page is called Drumming Up Real Estate.
Okay. That's actually my corporate. Like I set up. I mean, for real estate, I got incorporated, did all of that, and it's Drumming Up Real Estate Incorporated.
Nice. There you go.
So that was kind of my one, in my opinion, spark of genius, like just because of how it meshes with what I do.
Right. I was going to say.
I mean, it's funny because nobody really ever. Some people that know me put it together, obviously, but that's everybody else just thinks of it.
Explain how you got Drumming Up.
So I've played the drums for 20 years, I guess. 23 years. And I currently play in a country band, and that's my hobby, passion, you know, kind of deal that I do. So when I got into real estate, that's what I knew I had to figure out some way to have a kind of a tagline or, you know, something for my face, because I just didn't want to just have my name, Ryan Cotroneo, Edge Realty. You know, I mean, I wanted to jazz it up a little bit. So I was just sitting there one day and came up. I was like, man, I mean, that's what you're trying to do is drum up more business. So, I mean, it fits. It's perfect. Like, I mean, it just, yeah.
No
I
pun
mean, it
intended,
just, it works. And just kind of ran with it, which, I mean, it just, I don't know. It's fun to me. I like it.
For sure. So how did you get into drumming though?
So my grandfather was a drummer. He played for a gospel group called Andre Crouch and the Disciples. Okay. Back in the day, did some drumming for Count Basie. So pretty big names, you know, back in the 60s and stuff, like the 70s, that time era. But that's what Dad and that side of my family all grew up in L.A. That's what my grandfather was, a touring drummer. And so that's where I got it from. And for whatever reason, when I was younger, I just kind of gravitated towards it. I mean, I always played sports, but I just had the rhythm, I guess. And I mean, just kind of would beat on stuff around the house. And one day I just said, "Hey, Dad, I want a drum set. You know, let me do this." And they got me a drum set when I was 10. And
did you ever get in trouble while you were at school and beating on
just
the
dude, I don't even know that I'm doing it, really. I mean,
So,
my parents have always called me out on it. Like, my wife she doesn't even pay attention anymore.
Right.
But, like, I mean, it is all the time. I mean, when I was on my desk, I mean, it's just, I can't help it. I'm tapping feet, doing something.
I'm not a drummer, but I always loved the theory of like percussion.
Yeah.
And that was always my thing. I mean, coming from my culture, like, we always had, you know, some sort of percussion in the house. If it was drums, it was congos, it was bongos, it was something.
Yeah.
And that was our thing. Like, I would always get in trouble because I would have, if I had a pencil in my hand, and I'd be on the table, it'd be, you know, like, and I'd be going at it. And I remember one day, I was in my house and I was waiting on the bus because it was a super cold day. I was up in Connecticut, obviously, and like, obviously the temperatures up there get it like below 10 degrees. So I was waiting on the bus, and I was literally just on the little mantle of the stairway. You know, I was beating the drum, and then, like, at that time my sister was in college, so she didn't have classes until later in the day, and she would work in the morning, but for some reason that day she wanted to sleep in. I completely forgot she was home, and I'm just banging away like and just doing a beat on the stairwell, and she comes out and screams, just blares out like, "Oh my God, stop it!" And I swear, those type of issues I still remember. And like you said, when you said that you didn't notice that you do it, that sort of brought back memory, because I'd be in class and I would get in trouble. I would get in trouble, man. Like my teacher would get on me about doing that as well too. But yeah, sorry. Go ahead, man.
No, it's that's part of it. You got the rhythm. You're gonna be beating on something. I mean, it just is what it is. But yeah, so that's I never really got serious with drumming. It was always just a hobby, pretty much, growing up. I mean, sports took all of my time. I mean, I played football, basketball, baseball, soccer, everything growing up until I got into high school. And then once I got into high school, I kind of narrowed it down a little bit. Whole intentions on getting scholarships and going and playing at the next level, doing all that. And so I went to UCA, and then, you know, tore up my shoulder my senior year in high school. Ended up having surgery on it after once I got into college, and that was 2007. And pretty much after that, I couldn't throw anymore. It was done. Like, I mean, I just had my arm left me. And so 2008, I was actually sitting in Guitar Center just playing the drums, and guy heard me play, and he came up and he was like, "Man, I like what you're doing. Do you play in a band, do anything?" I was like, "No, I've never really done it. I mean, I've jammed with some people, you know, and kind of done that." And he was like, "Well, if you want to come and jam with us a little bit, we'll see what happens." And that started a whole new thing for me. Like, my eyes went, and I was like, "Yeah, this is something I need to do." And then I played that first show, and it was over. Like, that's the same feeling that you get running out onto the field and all of that, times it by like 50. And that's what I was feeling behind that kit. Like, when you hit that bass drum and you hear it through the speakers for the first time, man, I was like, I need to be doing this. Like, this is like about to take up some of my life here.
I can only imagine the amount of endorphins that get.
Dude, and I mean, that was 2008, and I have been. I don't even really call it a passion anymore. It's something that I have to do, and I mean, so for the past 12 years, I've been constantly trying to find musicians, find people to play with, and just keep getting better at what I do, not only, step my game up, but step my game up so I can start getting to play with those musicians that are on that level.
Right. Put yourself around
I think over the past 12 years I have done that. I mean, and the guys that I'm playing with right now, I love to death. I mean, those are my brothers. And hopefully one day we can get on the road and go on tour, because that'd be so sweet.
That'd be awesome, man. So speak a little bit on that, because all right, so you guys, you're part of an amazing band, and you guys do a hell of a show. I was able to see you guys for the first time last year at the Dogwood Throwdown. Yep. And if you guys don't know about that, that's I'm a little hurt because of the fact that the whole pandemic happened and we can't do it this year. But
it killed everybody. Like I walked through Walmart and they're like, dude, when's the next Throwdown? I'm like, man, I don't know. We'll see. Right. I mean, it's just kind of up in the air, but. Yeah, I mean, so that thing took off. Like, we did not expect that. It started out as a joke, really. We were having some troubles just getting shows around here, just because, I mean, we're a new band. We're 2 years into it. But Tyler Kinchelow, the lead singer, face of the band, all that, dude's got a top-notch voice. I mean, you're not...
For sure.
He could be on the radio right now.
For sure.
I mean, it is what it is.
Yeah.
The dude is a beast. But we got together, and I'd been jamming with another band, and they kind of split up or whatever. So I snagged the guitar player and the bass player, and then my buddy kind of told Tyler outside, I was like, dude, I've got people. We can assemble a band. We played a show at Sticky's, and he was like, man, if you want to do it, do it. And so I was like, all right, well, that's where my business side took over, and I was like, let's go. Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna do this thing. And so we got together, started practicing, doing all of that, and like I said, we're having problems booking shows and kind of getting our stuff out there. And he starts posting videos, and these videos are going up, 15,000 views, 20,000 views, and it's like, people want to hear him sing. Well, let's just throw our own show. We'll go out to a barn on Dogwood and throw a show.
Yeah.
And we kind of joked about it for a couple months, like, that'd be sweet. 50 people show up, all of that. And I was like, you know what? I mean, people are asking, where can we see y'all next? Let's do it. And so I just kind of took it and ran with it. Ended up raising money from sponsors and having a full-fledged stage and lighting and everything. Like, we had Bylights, had a Little Rock come in and set everything up, and it was so funny because I think a bunch of people just expected to see like 5 drunk rednecks on the back of a flatbed semi-trailer in a barn. I mean, that's like, I really think people were just coming out like just to be like, oh, we got to support the guys, and then they got out there and their eyes were just like, what is going on right now? Because I mean, it was a legit concert. Like, the lights, we had football playing out front. I mean,
the crowd went out the barn. You know what I mean? Like, so if you guys don't know about like Dogwood, what is it? Dogwood, is it Farms?
No, it's just the barn on Dogwood. It's a wedding venue out there.
So the barn on Dogwood, if you don't know about them, I mean, there's a giant field in front of it. Obviously, the owners live there as well too. But then the farm is in the back, or it's an old barn that's not being used for anything. It's an event hall now. And it's a decent size, but I mean, like the space to have the amount of people there. The parking lot was like entirely full from the road all the way up to.
Dude, it blew our minds. Like when we were watching people start pulling in, like you could see everybody's face, just like, what's going on right now. Like we really thought there was gonna. I mean, we're like, dude, if 100 people show up, sweet, let's do this. I mean, this is gonna be cool. We really thought it was gonna be like we look out and see like our friends and then like our moms and stuff standing there, like, no babies, like. I mean, that's really what we were thinking, and then I think the final count was like 450 people or something like that showed
crazy.
up. I mean, it was, a small cover to get in, BYOB, and
for
just
the amount of space that you had, and not only that, but like I don't know, man. It felt like there was like 1,000 people in there.
Yeah,
that's what it felt like.
Yeah, and I mean, and what was crazy is you had generations of Cabotonians come piling in there. You know, it was like a giant high school reunion of a span of like 15 years. You know what I mean? Like, so it was like everybody. That's what we were nervous about, because I mean, we got it sanctioned with the sheriff's department, and all that. So I mean, we took all the precautions and did everything, but we're just like, man, it's Cabot too. I mean, people are gonna get out here and get to drinking, and I mean, there's gonna be some fights. I mean, it's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. There was not. I mean, I don't think anybody said a cross word the entire night.
Not at all.
It was the best atmosphere.
Everybody was on the same wavelength.
Yes,
Everybody
it was
there to
good,
have a good
straight
time.
up good vibes everywhere.
Yes.
Like that's all it was. And I mean, it was, and I guess that's part of the. I mean, you got your circles here, but somebody in this circle is good friends with some. You know, I mean, so it was like you knew everybody that was there, even if you didn't. You know, I mean, somebody was going to introduce you to. I mean, it was just a cool night. Like that was a really cool night. And that was a huge night for us, because I think after that,
you saw the possibilities.
People realized what was going down and what this band can actually do. I mean, and I'm super proud to be a part of it and be able to play with musicians like what stand in front of me. You know what I mean? So that's my favorite part, is just getting to watch those guys. I mean, I got the best seat in the house, you know. I mean, I just get to sit there and watch them go to town, and it's a blast. There's nothing better than
the vibe that was there was insane. I'm talking about even from like the lights to the smoke show to I mean, just the crowd themselves, the way they were reacting to you guys as well too. I mean, you guys went off stage and everybody's encoring. You know what I mean, trying to request an encore. You guys came back out and did another one, and it seemed like it was just, you guys have been doing it for years. That's what it seemed like. I'm talking about like a band that's been touring across the country, doing this every single night for years. That's what it felt like.
And that was literally our first full band show. Like, I mean, how crazy is that?
That's
like,
crazy.
I mean, we played a couple other deals, but it was all like acoustic sets. You know, I mean, had the full band, but I wasn't on a real drum set, playing the cajon, you know, stuff like that. So that was our first show, fully plugged in, electric, you know, everything. And it was, that's going to be a hard one to top. We're going to have to do something to top that one. 'Cause it was just, I mean, it was a blast.
I mean, you're just going to have to make an annual thing.
That's what we're trying to do. And we'll do it again next year. I mean, like you said, with the pandemic and everything, it was just, it just didn't really work out. And just, it's kind of one of those deals. You just don't know where people's mindsets are. So, I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of people that would say, yeah, I'd love to be out there. But then there's also some that they're like, I'm not really cool with that right now. You know, so it's kind of just out of respect for everybody, that was kind of what we decided as a band, was to, you know, take some time off, take this year. I mean, because we were booked at the beginning of the year. That's we lost probably 10, 15 shows the first of this year. You know, that's or from March to really June, we had about 10, 15 shows booked, and they were, I mean, a couple of them were big. We were playing Mud Nationals down, I think that was in Blevins, Arkansas. I mean, there's thousands of people that go to that thing, you know. We had some stuff booked in Fayetteville that was going to be, if the Hogs would have made it to the Super Regionals and hosted it again, we'd have been playing up there that weekend. Like, I mean, so we had some good exposure shows that were booked that we lost out to because of the pandemic. But on the flip side, it also kind of gave us time to sit, be still, not have to play covers, not have to do all that, and be like, all right, what do we need? What is our sound? And we sat down and started writing. And now, I mean, this year we'll put out 5 singles, just because that's kind of how what we're seeing everybody's doing it this year. You know, nowadays you don't see just a whole lot of albums getting put out there. It's kind of people are popping singles just left and right.
Stay relevant.
I mean, that's kind of what we've been doing. We've released 2 so far. We've been recording up in Haxton Road Studios up in Northwest Arkansas.
Let them know the 2 as well. What are the first 2 singles again?
It is Hollow and Bullet or a Bible. Are the 2 that we've put out.
Bullet or a Bible, man. That one's got me.
Oh, everybody. It's kind of funny hearing people's you know, reactions to both of them. And which that's what's really funny is I can't wait to put out these next 3, because it's 3 more different sounds. You know what I mean? So it's none of our stuff really right now sounds exactly the same, which, I mean, that's kind of part of just being in a band and figuring out your sound.
Right.
You know, I mean, that it'll come with time. But right now we're just, I mean, but that's what's cool is we can kind of reach a little bit of everybody. I mean, that's,
So are you guys trying to mix in a little bit of influence of other genres and stuff?
oh
like
yeah.
that?
Yeah. I mean, man, we're obviously a country band. Tyler has got an amazing country voice, but that dude can also sing the crap out of some R&B. Like, I mean, he can sing. Yes. Like, that's all there is to
he
it.
can sing.
And man,
That's
I mean,
he
it's
can sing.
and so I mean, like we can kind of go different directions with it. Our band, as a whole, is more of a I guess a rock influence. That's what background I come from. Jackson Hagerman, our guitar player. He comes from a rock and country background.
By the way, Jackson always comes out with the best hats.
Yeah, oh yeah.
I love the dude's
Jackson's
hats,
the coolest
man.
dude on the face of the planet. Like, I mean, that's
Shout out to Jackson.
Yeah, oh yeah. Yeah, he comes from a rock and country background. Our bass player is a straight up metal dude. I mean, he was a bassist for a metal band. And then Drew comes. He was. I don't know if you'd call that indie rock that he used to play. He was a lead singer for I think it was an indie rock kind of band. And then Drew, our piano player Nathan, and myself, Nathan Jeffers, he used to work here at Edge. We all played at church together, and so that's kind of.
Drew's got a hell of a voice too.
Oh
man.
yeah. Drew can go.
Drew's
just we call him our comfort blanket.
There you go.
Just because, I mean, that's like, I mean, he just directs everything. He can sit down and play any instrument. If I'm having a problem with a spot, you know, I need a fill or a beat's not sounding right or something, just need that to be able to step back from the drum set and hear somebody else play. Drew will jump back there and they'll kick a song off and he'll start doing. And I mean, there's been a lot of times where he'll sit down and he'll start doing something. And I'll be like, gotcha, get up, my turn.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, and then I'll jump back on it and I'll kind of, I mean, he just gives me that little spark that I needed to get them wheels turning, you know? And then I'll jump in there and be like, yep, that's it. Let's do it.
That's great to have. You can have that reliability on each other. You know, you guys got to have each other's back. Goodness gracious, man! Like I know I'm excited to see you guys again. I mean, I was able to do some video for you guys, and I mean, I think that kind of let me have a little bit of like the feel of what you guys are feeling.
Yeah, oh yeah.
'Cause, man, like I did a couple of the shots from the stage.
Yeah.
And I was like, dude, this is ridiculous. Like this feels so crazy. But that was so much fun, man. Yeah, I'm looking forward to another one of you guys.
Oh, that's what, man. People always freak out when I tell them about you out there with, and they're like, dude, who did these videos? And I'm like, that's my boy, man. I'm like, he did it up. Like, man, these things look great. And I said, guess what he did that with? What's that? I said, an iPhone.
An iPhone?
They were like, no way. I'm like, yeah, dude, the dude had his iPhone on that, and that's what he recorded all that with. So
that was fun, man.
Oh, yeah.
It was super awesome to be able to do that, dude. And that goes to show you, a lot of people they don't give iPhones enough credit, man, or
dude.
phones in general. They don't give them enough credit.
That's a piece of equipment right there. I mean, that thing can do a lot more than what people use.
That's a lifeline for me.
Oh,
man.
yeah.
Are you kidding me? Jeez. All right. So I don't mean to, or I mean, I'm going to put you on the spot, but I don't mean to put you on the spot.
Yeah.
Now, and we talked about a little before off camera, and I know we were talking about, being able to, I've seen a lot of, I follow a lot of comedians, and a lot of comedians are doing, for instance, like Bert Kreischer, he's doing those drive up comedy shows.
Yeah.
Is there any possibility of you guys trying to do something along those lines?
I mean, yeah, there is. I mean, and we're open to really anything. I mean, that's what we're ready to start playing shows again. We actually just had that conversation within the last couple of days, just trying to get back out there. And we're all itching, I mean, that's where we come to life, know. So, but we had talked about doing like the drive-in show. There was one there in Little Rock, but that kind of fell through. And that's my buddy Heath Sanders. He just did one up in Marshall, and had Mallory Everett, Lance Stevenson, and a guy named John Bailey, which would have been a hell of a show because, I mean, they're all top notch, you know. But they just went up there and did a drive-in show, and I talked to Mallory afterwards, and she said it was awesome. She said it was a great turnout and a really fun show to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, we'd be totally open for it. And that's kind of why we're just sitting back right now, trying to get our stuff together and just be ready for whenever. We don't know what turns it's going to take, or you know, how it's going to change the music scene. I mean,
right.
it's there. I mean, or if, you know, next summer it just opens back up. I mean, and then it goes back to normal. We don't. I mean, it's just kind of. So we're just kind of, like I said. I mean, we just kind of sit back and just kind of doing our thing.
Yeah.
And then if something pops up, jump on it. If not, keep doing what we're doing. But
I think it's awesome because you guys are looking for, still looking for like that voice, so to speak, to find for you guys, which I think is great.
And right now, every single one of us, so there's 6 of us in the band, and we all deer hunt and duck hunt. So that's that was our deal when we first started this, was October hits and kind of really more November through February is like no-go zone.
Right.
Like that's our time, because I mean, we all have camps, you know, that we go to and that kind of stuff, and that's just that's time for family and your soul, really. You know, I mean, I don't know if you hunt or anything like that, but like just being able to get out there and be in nature by yourself.
Oh yeah,
get away from everything. Yeah. Like
I'm looking.
You need
for,
that.
I'm looking
you
for
need
for the
that.
Season.
Like I mean, and some people don't. I mean, you might not use hunting for that. I mean, but you know, I mean, it might be, you know, running or doing, you know, some. I mean, but that's kind of, for me personally, that's my time to check out. Leave my phone in the truck and go out and be in the woods, where I mean, you don't hear anything except nature. Like that's my happy place.
So I've done it last 2 years, and I didn't get into it. I got into it really late. I mean, I don't come from a hunting family and stuff like that. We didn't even have guns in the house. You know what I mean? So, but for what I knew, ever since I was a kid, I was interested in it. Just never had anybody around me to kind of show me the ropes and stuff like that. Man, and the first time I did it, it was like you said, it was that connection. You have that connection with the outside. It almost brings you back to that primal feeling, you know, of being almost like a caveman, and you're out there, and for me, I don't know about you, but it's intense. I'm sitting there like, you know what I mean? I'm like waiting every single second. I don't want to lose any sort of opportunity. So I'm sitting there like I feel like I've got, you know, like moss on my head. And, you know what I mean? Like I don't obviously I'm just sitting in the blind, but like that's just how I in my mind that's how I look. I look like Arnold Schwarzenegger coming out of like Commando or something like that. You know, so that's my feeling whenever I'm in there. Obviously I don't. I'm just like, you know, but and to my to my own extent, I haven't killed anything yet. But you know, hey, it is what it is. You know what I mean?
Oh, it'll come. That's what Chris Pratt, that he does a video talking about, because he's a big deer hunter, and he does a video just talking about, you know, being able to pretty much sneak into nature in the mornings. Like he paints a picture of what his hunt looks like and stuff like that. And just the way he words it and everything, like you need to check that out. It's pretty cool. But he kind of just talks about how cool of a feeling it is to be able to sneak out. You're sneaking out into the woods and in the dark. Yeah. And then you're 25 foot up in a tree, and you get to see nature come to life around you, like, and just the feeling that like, I mean, and it's really cool how he breaks it down. Like, I'm not as poetic as he is. It makes it sound a lot cooler. But yeah, no, that's a good video. You need to check that out.
Well, I mean, it makes sense already, because I mean, that's exactly what it's almost like the blanket gets taken off in the morning, you know, because it goes from maybe just hearing a couple of crickets here and there and stuff like that, or just hearing like the night wind, but then when the skies open up, and then you start hearing the birds, like they're waking up as well too. It goes, and it's within a 5-minute window. There's like that golden 5 minutes that you like, the sun is just barely coming up, and you have like a gold or pink sky above you, and then you can see more than 5 feet in front of you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I think, that makes complete sense. Though.
Yeah.
It makes complete sense. And it's crazy how not too many people get to experience that. And I didn't get to experience that until I was in my 30s,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah.
I was the same way. I mean, I didn't come from a hunting background. Like my dad, I mean, my dad grew up in LA. Like, I mean, that city boy as it gets right there.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, and I've never even seen him shoot a weapon. Okay. So, I mean, it was me moving to Cabot and getting with my buddies. And I think the first time I duck hunted was, when I was 15, I think, something like that, 14, 15. They took me and I fell in love with that. And I've duck hunted ever since then. But I just got into deer hunting we got into our cabin. So it was probably 6 years ago is kind of when I started bow hunting. And that just took me over. Like, I mean, I love that. Like, I mean, just being able, like last night, just going out in the yard and just having some alone time and shooting just over there. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, that's just something that I enjoy doing. So
that's insane. Do you watch Buck Commander? No, you don't watch Buck Commander. So that it's guys I mean, it's like Willie Robinson.
Yeah.
And these guys. But I think it's kind of entertaining to watch. They have like full episodes on YouTube and stuff like that.
Yeah.
If you ever get a chance, it's pretty entertaining to watch. It's deceiving though because they make it look very easy, and they don't show like all the times that you staying out there, and they definitely obviously from there's a couple episodes you'll see that they'll have they'll tell you like, man, we've been on a rut, like, and it's they'll tell you we've been from city to city to city to city, and trying to get into these camps and trying to give you guys some footage, and it could have been like months of them traveling trying to hunt, and they haven't gotten anything, and I think it was cool that they finally like really said that.
Well, I mean,
that's how I feel right now, to be honest with you.
Yeah. I've been bow hunting 7 years, and last year was the first time I actually killed and it was a button buck. It wasn't even it wasn't even anything, but that was my first bow kill.
Yeah.
I mean, so I'd literally been hunting for 5-6 years and never even fired my bow.
That's crazy.
I mean, yeah, I've seen deer out there, just never could get them close enough, or
right.
I mean, whatever. A couple times had them get close enough, and then I messed up and did something, and hit something or hit my climbing stand.
Yeah.
Tanked them, and then they take off, and I mean, and then you're sitting there just furious, dude. Like, I mean, but get down and roll out, come back the next day and do it again.
Right.
So I mean,
God, dang, dude, it's crazy how much goes into it. I mean, not only technique, but of trying to math and distance.
Yeah.
And, that's the other thing that kind of I think is crazy about the bow hunting, which makes me interested in it, because there's so much that goes into it, and you can do it a little bit more. There's obviously the season's a little bit longer as well too.
Yeah.
And I think there's more places that accept it as well too. Especially around here, like they do it on base. You can actually go on base and bow hunt, which I think is really cool.
Yeah.
Man, that would be something that'd be really interesting to kind of get into. I may have to get you off camera and ask you a few questions of where to go, because I'm really going to be going into the store, into one of these bow hunting places and saying, hey, I don't know what I'm doing, but I want to start. What do I need to do? But okay, so anyways, we got off on a really long tangent, which is really cool. I love that, by the way. I mean, it's already been almost an hour, but it's great. Okay, so I do want to talk about a little bit, and let's get back in, obviously into the real estate side of everything. What's your thoughts been as far as like the market this year compared to the previous year?
Phew. Crazy. I mean, it's insane. I did not, with the pandemic and everything going on, I didn't really know where we were going to go or what was going to happen. But I definitely did not anticipate the market to be like it is. I mean, it is, you can't, I mean, especially in Cabot area, you put something on and it's gone. I mean, 24 hours and you've got multiple offers. I mean, sometimes those offers are over asking price.
Right.
And it doesn't matter how much the house is. I mean, it could be $110,000 house or a $410,000 house. It's gone. Like, I mean, it just, if you are positioned on the market properly, your house is going to sell. I mean, and it's been like that, and it's stayed pretty steady. I mean, that's what everybody, with them doing the different, the unemployments and all of that stuff. And, I felt fortunate enough to be able to continue to work and sell and not have to utilize any of that. Like, I mean, that's what's crazy to me. I mean, is that you see, the nation, the world hurting like it is and stuff like that. And then you're still able to get up and go to work every day and not really change your approach to anything all that much, other than having to wear a mask when you go do a showing or something. I mean, like, to me, that's not really that big of a change, I mean, like, that's, I mean, it's just, you're adapting and making it happen. But I mean, with interest rates the way they've been, I mean, and just being able to help people get into houses and stuff like that, I mean, I think it's really cool, because I think you've got people that probably might not have been able to get not probably, I mean, most definitely wouldn't have been able to get a house, and now are coming home and, instead of renting, owning their house and putting them and their families in better positions. And so it's I don't know, it's been pretty cool to watch and stuff like that flourish in a weird time. You know what I mean? Yeah. So
kind of being in the darkness and having some sort of light come through. I can attest to the fact about being scared whenever the pandemic hit, and not knowing as far as what was to come for us. And definitely feeling blessed. I mean, for lack of better words, blessed to be able to keep doing what we're doing. And
it's like, I mean, 2008 when the recession hit, all of that. I mean, Mom was a realtor at that time, so I got to see that firsthand. And so that's what freaked me out. I was like, man, what's about to happen? Right. And for it to do this instead of, I mean, like, that's it was a breath of fresh air. I mean, for a lot of people. I mean, so that was my biggest thing, is just watching that and just being able to, like, be thankful that we could still go to work every day. Oh yeah.
I'm pretty sure everybody was I think everybody thought the same thing as far as having that that almost like that recession that we had, having a reoccurrence of that. And I think everybody was just kind of on the edge of the seat because of it. And obviously, like, I wasn't in real estate back then, but I mean, we were all around when that happened, so I kind of remember as far as, like, what happened as far as everybody losing jobs or not being able to afford stuff, and definitely scared all of us for sure. Man, I had something that kind of was going to lead into that as well too. But what do you feel? How do you feel? All right, so, like, one conversation that we've had before as well too about this whole pandemic and everything in our career field is that we feel that the real estate industry has kind of been almost, for a way that I can explain it, is almost like the backbone of the economy. And in my opinion, I could be completely wrong, and I'm not educated in this whatsoever, so I could be just spilling my guts here. But honestly, I do feel as though with what's been happening in our industry and the way that the market has been going, like, how do you feel as far as the industry itself? Do you agree with that? Do you feel that it's kind of something that has to do with it? Do you feel as though, I don't know, what's your thoughts on it? What's your thoughts on
man,
how it's been
I mean, right now, I think it's where we're at, I think is in a great spot. And I don't know what you can go down that whole, I mean, because that's how I have some talks with my little brother and stuff like that, and I mean, you hear people talking about, we're heading for this, we're heading for that, and I'm just like, well, right now it's great. I mean, and that's kind of my deal. I don't see, I mean, back 2008 when all that stuff happened, it was people were getting into homes that they shouldn't be getting into. You know what I mean? Because they can't afford those payments. Right. Now you've got people getting into homes because they can afford it. Right. Like, I mean, you got interest rates, and I mean 2.5% interest rates. Like now you can get a bigger house for what you were. I mean, I've got a buddy that was renting for $1,300 a month, gets into a $230,000 house and don't change his payment.
Right.
Like
yeah.
I mean,
yeah, and almost doubles the size of the house.
I mean,
probably,
oh yeah, 100%. I mean, he's living in a 2,300 square foot house, and he was in a 1,300 square foot house next to me.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
Yeah,
so
yeah.
I mean, it's kind of like how can that be a bad thing? But like I said, I'm right there with you. I'm not educated on, how the economy works and all of that stuff.
Right.
I mean, and I should be, but right now that's not my job. My job is to find the house that you want to buy and let's do the deal.
Right,
You know
exactly,
what I mean?
yeah.
Or take your house and sell it for as much as we can. So that's kind of, I don't know. I'm thoroughly enjoying where we're at right now, just because getting to help people get into that better position, into that spot that could put them a little bit closer to their dream home, or that kind of thing. Seeing when you go and show a house and families got little kids, and watching them little kids run through and be like, "Oh, Daddy, is this gonna be my rent?" That stuff. Like I love stuff like that, and or to see that young couple that is buying their first house, and come in. They just got married and they've been renting for the past couple of years, and it's like you can see their wheels spinning when they get in there. Like just kind of seeing their life play out ahead of them. Like that stuff. Like. I love that. That is the biggest thing for me with selling real estate is those transactions and those interactions like that. You know what I mean?
For
like
sure.
That's what makes my heart tick there. You know what I mean?
I hear you. Yeah. That's definitely I can agree with you 100% on that as well too, man. It's great to kind of see. Especially when you have those first-time home buyers or whoever it is in general, and then they just have the vision as well too. They have the capability of being able to see themselves in the home. Yeah. And like you said, there's something in like that their look, their eye that just kind of changes real quick, and it's almost like a twinkle, if I could say, and their mood changes real quick. They get very quiet. Yeah. So some will get very quiet, others will get very emotional, others will they all have. But I love reading that body language. As soon as they find the one, like I can tell off of their body language. Yeah, that's the one. And it's great to be able to see that. Where do you see yourself going in the next 10 years?
Ooh, next 10 years. I haven't even really got into that. I don't really like to think about it because that means I'm going to be 44. And I probably have a kid in college, and I don't even really like going there. We just got weird. Man, it's kind of funny that you asked that.
That's not cool, because now you have me thinking that way as well too. I was thinking more professionally, but now I'm like, oh, you're right. You might go to college and then probably marriage after that, if that's even.
Oh, what's crazy? So just to get off of that subject for a minute, but just kind of tell you a little story I had with I was talking with Mom, and this was a few years ago, and it was one of them same kind of deals. What are you going to do? In 15 years, blah, blah, blah. And she was like, well, if, Gabby goes the same route that you and Cam's did, she was like, you're gonna be a grandpa. And I was like, what? Like, seriously? That's what you're gonna come up with right now? Like, come on. Like, stop, Cisa. Like, what are you doing?
Jiminy Christmas,
yeah,
man,
but
that is right.
Yeah, that's I was just like, dude, no, don't like that.
Can we get through high school first?
Yeah. Come on now. Grandpa, get out of here.
Goodness gracious, man.
But no, man, I'll be honest with you. Right now, man, 10 years from now, I can't. Only I can think of, man, I'm still just so, real estate is my number one, and that music thing is just right there. Like, I put a lot of time into that. You know what I mean? So, because I manage, I do, it's not just playing the drums. Like, right. I look at it from a business standpoint as well. But yeah, so I've got a few more years left in that, and it's kind of funny that you asked that, because I was talking to Tyler the other day, and I was like, dude, give me 4 more years. 4 more years. Like that's all I want to play. I want to play music for 4 more years and try to do this.
Right.
And I said, and after that, I said, that's when I'm switching my focus to real estate and family life. Like, I mean, you know what I mean? Like, that's where I want to be here. I want to be coaching baseball for my son's 2. So, I mean, he'll be 6, you know, that's, I want to be coaching baseball. If he plays golf or does sports, does anything, like, I want to do that stuff, you know? That's kind of where, I mean, that's where I see myself going. But that's another thing. I've never really just fully poured myself into real estate either. And I love it. Like that's, I mean, I could very easily do that. I just have my other deals.
That's saying a lot because you were the rookie of the year.
Yeah. I mean, and that year I did, I went full on, and just busted it. Like, I mean, that's when we were about to have Jacob and wife wasn't working, and it was either make it or break it.
Right.
You know what I mean? So there was no other route for me to go. So it was balls to the wall. Like, let's roll. And I mean, I still work extremely hard at real estate, and I'm still putting my numbers up and hitting the spots that I'm wanting to hit.
Most definitely.
But also know where other things are pulling from, so my goals aren't quite as high as they could be. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But without having that other stuff right now in my life, I wouldn't be as happy. You know what I mean? Of course, right. I've kind of found a pretty decent balance for where I'm at right now,
and that's good. That's good to even have it, even if it's a transition period.
Yeah,
that's tough to find, man.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, any type of balance in life in general. Is, and especially when you're in your career, then you have family, and then also you have a passion.
Yeah,
that, it could be it can coincide with your career, or it could be a completely different passion.
Oh, and that's what, if there's any musicians out there and you're struggling, need a job, get into real estate. Like that is, I mean, real estate is a beautiful thing for a musician, because you can work and still play your music. If you need to travel, you can still work. Like, I mean, that right there, that's what I've been telling everyone. I mean, because Jackson Hagerman, he's a realtor for
that's right, yeah, for
McKimmey.
Yeah.
And that's what I've told the whole band. I said, if we ever go on tour, I said, we're all just going to get our real estate license. I said, we'll all just do it. And I said, y'all going to be edge agents.
Yeah, that's right. That's what we're going to do. We're just going to recruit everybody.
Kinch is going to Kinch with edge.
Kinch with edge.
Kinch team.
That's what we need, man. Uh-oh. That's the plan. That's the plan right there. All right. Shoot. So, I mean, man, we've covered a lot of stuff today, and I think it was really awesome how
dude, I'm kind of starting to love these podcasts. Like, that's what I was telling you. This is my second one to do, and I thoroughly enjoy it.
I'm telling you, man. and I love it, and I love having people like you over here, because I mean, and I think everybody can kind of see that it's going to be a little bit different with this one, just because I wanted to get a little bit more personal. I wanted to get a little bit more off the beaten path, and I think this is kind of where hopefully our wheelhouse is going to be. So I think it'll make for a really good show. But man, I really appreciate you coming out and doing this, dude.
I appreciate you having me.
It's a good time. Always a good time having Ryan around. And we got to get on the golf course here pretty soon. We got a couple tournaments coming up, and partnering up or what?
Yep.
You're gonna do
I like it.
All right, just don't get mad at me when I can't get it, when I can't keep it on the fairway. All right, but shoot, man, it's gonna be a good time. I'm glad you're somebody I know. One of my first deals was with you.
Yep.
And it was till today one of my biggest deal I've done yet.
Yeah.
So I appreciate your help, man, and it's always a good time having you around. And we gotta do this again.
Oh yeah.
Even if it's here or if it's another podcast.
Yeah.
I think this is probably what we're gonna start doing. I want to be like Joe Rogan, just have like, this is the careers doing podcasts. And I'll have like 4 or 5 in one day, and then I think that'll be the route to go.
Yeah,
Joe Rogan coming for you.
Yeah, that'd be pretty sweet. Just sit and talk. Like,
I'm telling you. And then if we can bring,
we're realtors, we got the gift of gab.
We have to exactly, man. We can. I'm telling you, I could talk to a rock if I needed to. You know what I mean? And still make it pretty interesting.
What do you think I do when I'm hunting? Like, I'm just
talking to flies.
Yeah, just sitting out there talking, man.
Oh God, we can get into that. That'd be a whole nother.
Oh yeah.
You gave me an idea for a video. There you go. All right, guys. So again, thank you guys so much. Hope you guys got something from this as well too. Got to know a little bit more about Ryan and his background and what makes him tick, and a little bit more about our lifestyle here at Edge too. So and once again, Ryan, thank you so much for being here, buddy. I appreciate you, bud. And thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys have been watching this entire time, thank you again. Make sure to watch another one of our episodes and stay tuned for more. Other than that, I love you guys. Thank you guys so much. You guys have a great day, and talk to you soon. Again, my name is Yashua Suarez from Edge Realty. Take care.
Later.
Bye, guys.